Now we'll hear from Mr. Jean Diederich, board member of VNX Stablecoins.
Thank you so much. Cryptocurrency is a large topic, and I think for the last 10 years, many governments, many members of parliaments never wanted to address the topic. That's why it became wild grass. And that's why the criminals were using and abusing it. And many people told me already 6-7 years ago, oh, we are going to stop it. And I told them, you are not going to stop it. It will be in your life forever. And so it's important to understand what is crypto and what are the different forms of crypto. Today, I want to speak about central bank digital currency, which is the other opposite of the wild crypto you have described, which is central banks making their own crypto, not on the blockchain. And then in the middle, what was said also, you have the stable coins, which are mostly backed up by fiat, which is money issued by a central bank. And then you have the pure crypto, most common known is the Bitcoin, where the value is on the token. It's just a digital code. You have no counter value. It's the belief you have in digitalization. So today what I want to discuss is what Europe wants and why, and the future of the digital money in Europe. So if we look at the press, we see that the European Central Bank is dreaming about the digital euro, but that the European Union is divided. ESMA, which is the European regulator, makes stablecoins a very difficult topic because they are very much afraid and they want to push with the central bank the digital euro. We will see later the advantages and disadvantages. You have to be educated on this and you have to understand the topics. Then you can make the right legislation, the right rules, the right laws, and then you can manage it and stop the wild grass, and that meaning just the criminals understand what's going on. In Europe, we have 4 countries who are quite against the digital euro. It's Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, and Slovakia. What is going on in the United States, meaning you have already spoken about the crypto bro Howard Lutnick, what he did with Tether. You know, the origin of Tether is not an accident. Why did it happen that? Because the guys of Tether, they have a crypto exchange called Bitfinex. They have been in Taiwan, then they moved to Hong Kong, then they moved to BVI, then they moved to El Salvador, and so on and so on. Why this happened? This happened by accident because in the first waves of the Bitcoin investment, you have people, I don't know, buying 10 Bitcoins for 2,000 euros, meaning 20,000 euros investment. The Bitcoin went up to 30,000. They were selling the 10 Bitcoins for 300,000 euros. Then they had this money in Bitfinex. But no bank didn't want the money back in fiat. So what happened is they created then these stable coins in order to make a parking of the money, because, as you know, the real crypto is totally unstable. 50,000, 100,000, 20,000, nobody knows. It's like this. And so the stable coin, as it says, is there to stable the value. And that's very important, and that's how Tether was created. One is an Italian guy and the other is a Dutch guy who have created that. And of course, as you can see, Lutnick now is addressing the topic, and I think that's very important, of managing the reserve. Because there's nothing bad of it. It has not been handled in the last 10 years. No government wanted to make a law in order to regulate this and make this legal. Now I think we have the obligation to do so. United States, they have done something else. They have also published, the Congress, a law called the anti-surveillance law of the central bank digital currency, which means that in the United States, the Fed is not allowed to issue retail digital dollars. Why? Because of surveillance, of privacy, and of course of manipulation of digital wallets, because they could then also burn digital dollars, and this will kill the freedom of the citizen. And I think you in the Parliament have a responsibility also on this, and we have to find the balance between controlling and giving freedom to our citizens of spending the money they want. And I'm not speaking about millions and trillions of the drug dealers. I'm speaking of the normal people who have a normal life. We cannot kill their liberty just to get on the criminals. Okay, and there are many more citizens who are not criminals than the ones who are criminals. So we should give them also their liberty. Now, the other issue of Europe is, if we look the percentage of fiat currencies in dollar and euros, we see that the dollar is 22 something and the euro is 90. If we look now at the stable coins, the dollar represents 99% and the euro stablecoin is 0.02. So it's nothing. So as the Trump administration is saying, we want the dollar to be predominant. With stablecoins is for sure is a monopoly for the moment, because Europe has not done the right things from a regulatory perspective. Now, how to compare? So on the left side you have the central bank digital currencies, what the European Central Bank want to do, what the Fed is not allowed to do by law, and then you have the stable coins. So the issuer of a central bank digital currency, as it says, is a central bank. A stable coin is a regulated private company. I'm saying regulated because Tether is not regulated. And so most of the people you speak about of these stable coins, they are not regulated because nobody has addressed the topic and nobody was coming up with a regulatory framework to do so. Europe had last year done the first regulatory framework with MiCAR, but now they block us from moving on because they are very slow on delivering the licenses. Okay? Meaning you can make a framework, but then you have to deliver the licenses if the people follow the law and follow the rules. The technology, mostly central bank digital currency, as Madame Lagarde is saying, will not run on a DLT, on blockchain, but on a private infrastructure like their system Target 2. Public blockchains are mostly used by stable coins. For example, VNX, we are on 12 public blockchains, because if you want to do business, some people are on Solana, others are on Tether, on Ethereum, and so on. So you have to be on different ones. The control. Central bank digital currency are centralized, controlled by the government. Stable coins are decentralized and hybrid models. So for the government and the central bank is a sovereign digital fiat currency, and for the private is fiat backed up private digital. What is important is the risks for you to understand. So the central bank digital currency, as the US government has seen, and I think they have seen it rightly, is the government surveillance of the citizen. The risk of privacy, the risk of citizen resistance, and of programmable money, if you think about the consequences of that, and this under government rules, this is a big risk for democracy, I'm sorry to say. Stable coins on the other side, you need a good law, a good regulatory framework. You need a good governance of private company, and you need a good custodian bank which is safeguarding the fiat money towards the token. Meaning not managing it, of course, is creating a big issue to all of us. Now, in Europe, I have to say the risk of over-centralization is very big. If you look, the central bank digital currency, then we have an EUDI wallet, meaning a wallet given by the government where you have then your digital euro, and then the banks will also deliver all this. So, which means that before someone was speaking about China, this looks very much to Chinese model, what Europe is doing, and Europe has to decide at the European Parliament, at the Central Bank, and the Commission if that is our future. Now the 4 countries who are against this is Germany, Austria, Netherlands and Slovakia. They have expressed their reservation. I don't think the digital euro will come without the agreement of Germany and the Bundesbank. I think also that it will not come in October 2025 because technologically speaking, and that's another topic, they are not ready. Meaning what the US said is the Fed is not a digital company which is there to dictate how digital money should be technologically issued, run. The market should decide which technology is the best and should have different competitors competing for the best value, for the best technology. A central bank is there to manage monetary politics and not technology, because otherwise you kill also technical innovation if the central bank dictates technology. So I think the US, what they say is regulate, don't substitute, and I think Europe has to think about this also and understand if we have not served in the wrong direction in the last years with our idea of the central bank digital currency. Then we have the ESMA drama. Why? Because companies like ours, we are legally registered as a VASP, Virtual Asset Service Provider. And they said last year that we will have 18 months of grandfathering in order to get regulated under the new MiCA regulation and move from VASP to CASP. I'm sorry for the technical terms, but it's the law, it's how it's structured. So I have to be precise that when someone wants to read the law, that you understand about what I'm speaking. And what they have done now in January, they said, okay, we want to stop Theta, because Theta is not regulated, so we stop everything. Which means that now in Europe, for the moment, they stop everything because they ask a CASP license for stablecoins, and they haven't really given out any license, which means that we are blocked, and normally they should have given at the beginning of the year. We are now in May, June, nothing. So in Luxembourg, for example, there are at least 12 companies blocked by the regulator through ESMA, not getting a license. So, in summary, we don't want the wild grass, we want to handle it with rules. But if you set up the rules, then run the rules in a good way and give a license to us, because otherwise you will again support the criminals, because they run without rules and they make big business, and people like us who want to do it in a legal framework, we are stopped of doing anything. So I think we need the support of all of you. So I think Euro stablecoins need more support because there are no stablecoins, and I think we have to refine a balance between the USD stablecoins and the Euro stablecoins. So our firm, what we do, we are ready. We run in Liechtenstein under the Liechtenstein national framework on gold, on CHF, on euro, and on recently on pounds. And we are waiting on the CASP license in Luxembourg to move all our euros to Luxembourg and bring them into the ecosystem. And as I said before, we run on 12 blockchains already, so technologically we are ready. If the rules, regulators are ready, we are ready. As you can see, we are fully backed up. We have the banks, Bank Merki Baumann, Signum Bank, Amina Bank in Switzerland, Bank Frick in Liechtenstein. We have also a link where you can look at our reserves, because many people are asking my question, but how many percentage of you have as a reserve? For the moment it's 100%, because there is no law like the Basel risk law of Basel III, Basel IV, who is running for the banks, the risk, the credit risk. I think in the future is also something people have to understand, of coming up with this and with laws like the Basel laws for stablecoins. So this is our ecosystem. As a conclusion, Europe's strength has always been in balancing innovation with regulation. Let's not lose our edge by building a wall between central bank digital currencies and the crypto economy. Let's build a bridge. Thank you so much.